All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today in the significant milestone of this project of the new Veterans Home in Holyoke. We are honored to have some very special guests with us today. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed guest, Governor Maura Healey, Congressman Richard Neal, the Secretary of the Executive Office of Veteran Services, Jon Santiago, State Senator John Velas, State Representative Patricia Duffy, the Mayor of Holyoke, Joshua Garcia, from Commodore Walsh, Joe Albanese and Richard Walsh, and from Prime Steel Erecting Incorporated, Jeremy Long. And a welcome to all the tradesmen, staff, veterans, and their families. Thank you all for being here today. Your support is very important to us and this project. As our current occupants of the Veterans Home at Holyoke, we have all enjoyed watching the building take shape before our eyes. This topping off marks not just the completion of this building framework, but it also symbolizes our commitment to our veteran residents. Our staff and veterans took great pride in signing the beams to be placed today. For all of us, it marks the beginning of a new chapter in the Veterans Home in Holyoke. We are excited about the future, and we look forward to all the new building will have to offer, especially to our veteran residents. Thank you all very much for being here. And at this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Garcia to the podium.
Hello, everybody. Governor, I think I would just, on behalf of the citizens of Holyoke and everybody that's here today, I certainly want to give you a warm, warm welcome back to Western Massachusetts and here in the city of Holyoke. Governor Healey, Secretary Santiago, Congressman Neil, Senator Velas, Rep. Duffy, my colleagues in government. I see Mayor Reichout, Mayor View here with us today as well. Thank you so much for coming over. It's an honor, and honor is what the Veterans Home is about. This awesome big building here in front of us and the caregivers who staff it honor the courage, the sacrifice, and patriotism of the veterans who answered their country's call. Whether they served in Belgium or Berlin or Saigon or Quezon or Baghdad or Fallujah, the heroes residing at the Holyoke Veterans Home are part of an unbroken chain of men and women who have served this country with honor and with distinction. A grateful nation represented here today by city, state, and federal leaders make this pledge, and the pledge is, we will not leave you. When you leave the service, you have done your part, and now we're going to do ours. So with that being said, I have now the honor of introducing up resident and veteran Roger Cody, who is going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Yep, you want the mic?
You know I'm going to mess this thing up, Roger.
They're going to do great.
There you go. You can look that way, Roger. They'll hear you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Roger. This time, Governor Healey.
Well, good afternoon, and it is such a pleasure for me to be here today with all of you. a topping off ceremony. You all know what that is? All the ironworkers know what that is. It's a really cool way to commemorate what's been amazing progress on this building. And I had the privilege of being able to sign the beam earlier that I know is going to go up. So to our Sky Cowboys, we thank you for all you do, Local 7, all the men and women, the building trades who have been part of this incredible effort. It is just, you know, having been here a little while back, it's just incredible to see the progress that has been made. And before you know it, you all are going to be enjoying new surroundings, and others are going to be joining you in that. So thank you for having us here to mark this milestone in the Holyoke Veterans Home and the transformation of Veterans Services. Roger, thank you so much for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. A veteran, a resident of this home, someone who has served and sacrificed for our country, and we thank you. To all of the veterans here, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you have done for our community, our state, our country. Thank you for the model that you are to so many. And, you know, we want young people today to answer the call for service. And, you know, if you have a chance to interact with any of these incredible people, I know a young person would be inspired to sign up. So thank you for everything that you have made possible. You know, our service members, our veterans, and their families make possible all the freedoms, all the joys that we experience today as Americans, and we must always remember that. We must always honor that. To Mayor Garcia, everybody from the city of Holyoke, great to be back, and thank you for welcoming us. To my fellow colleagues in government, I see Chair John Velas, who's such a powerful member of the Veterans Committee, Rep. Duffy, all of our legislative partners. In addition, we have Senator Jake Oliveira, Representative Minnie Dom, Representative Angelo Pupolo, Representative Carlos Gonzalez, Rep. Natalie Blay, Rep. Dan Carey, Rep. Kelly Pease, Rep. Aaron Saunders. Forgive me if I've overlooked anyone. We also have our Inspector General, Jeff Shapiro, here as well. And it's just great to see Representative Shirley Arriga, yes, service member herself. So let me just say that really special to be here today. Just always so special to stand alongside our great chair and Congressman Richie Neal. Richie has done so much for all of us. He's our champion in Washington who's bringing back funding to our state regularly. He's absolutely key to this project, as you know, delivering $263 million. Thank you. In federal VA funding to make this, it was a heavy load, you're right. Yeah, well, a big lift here, huge assist from Congressman Neil. We're grateful to have you, and we thank you for all you do. Another person I want to thank is a person you'll hear from shortly. His name is Jon Santiago, okay? He's the Secretary of Veterans Services. He's a doctor in the emergency room. He's a dad of 2. He just had a baby the other night, a little boy. And he is a member of the Guard and served abroad multiple times, including when I was trying to recruit him to come be, I didn't forget where you were. You were in Syria serving, when I was calling him to say, come be my Secretary of Veterans Services. So, you know, Jon has worked really, really hard in transforming veterans services in our state. And I'm just so grateful to him, from the homes at Chelsea, now to Holyoke, to the HERO Act, which is the state's most comprehensive piece of veterans legislation. I just am grateful to you and to the team at DVS for the work that you do. And speaking of team, earlier today, I got to stand with General Keefe, the Adjutant General, and a Western Mass native himself. We were over in Westfield, or Westover, and it was for another occasion where that gate is going to be, the Minuteman Gate is going to be is installed. And again, I'm just reminded of the strong support for our military in Massachusetts and in Western Massachusetts. And I pledge on behalf of myself and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll that you will always, always have our support. Director Mike Lazo, thank you to you and to the great team here at the Veterans Home. We are so grateful to you for your care and your commitment. We're thrilled to celebrate your team. A little later on, there'll be award winners that we'll recognize for the Performance Recognition Program, so congratulations to all of you. I mentioned the men and women of labor who are out there making this all possible every single day. And I know we have a lot of labor leaders with us as well, including President Frank Callahan of the Massachusetts Building Trades, President Colton Andrews of the Pioneer Valley Building Trades. Thank you both, and thank you to all in labor who are here today. I'm really grateful that our great legislature saw fit to make sure, and you can clap for this too, because our legislature made sure that this project is done under a project labor agreement. That means a safer workplace for you guys. And I'm going to continue to support this PLA and other PLAs that are important to our state and the jobs. So, and actually, huge credits because of that, the workforce of the PLA, that we're actually here ahead of schedule. We are here ahead of schedule. And the finished product is going to be of such tremendous high quality. It's why this project not only met, but surpassed state goals for contracting and hiring workers, including workers of color, women, and veterans, which is really, really cool. So I want to thank as well all the contractors, both the folks on the state team at DCAM, but also the amazing folks at Commodore and Walsh and everybody who had a hand in bringing us to this day. We're here just in time for Veterans Day. And it's an important time for our country, an important occasion to commemorate. I had the pleasure, because I was inadvertently parked in her driveway, but Paula Marcotte lives next door, all right next door, and grew up next door here. Her mom and dad were both veterans, and she spent a lot of time. Her dad would get care over here, and it was wonderful talking to her about what she's seen and about what this day means and the progress that's being made, and just being reminded of the importance of, generations of families in this area have stepped forward and served our country and continue to serve. So it really is special, and it's special now that it's Veterans Day. Every day should be Veterans Day. Every day we should be thanking and commemorating the men and women who serve and who have served. And we honor them. We honor them and their families. We know what transpired during the pandemic. My heart goes out to families who are heartbroken, to caregivers who are doing all that they could during what was a very difficult time. And this is a new chapter today. It's like world-class facility, protecting, serving veterans the way they protected and served this country. We honor the spirit of veterans and their families and those who serve. And trust me, we are committed every single day in our administration to doing everything that we can to support our veterans and support our military service members. And at this time, I'm honored to introduce someone who needs no introduction, our outstanding champion in Congress, Richie Neal. Thank you.
Thanks, Governor, and thanks to all of you who have so faithfully assembled, and our friends here who so admirably served our country in a moment of great peril. And I want to personally thank the professional staff here as well for the great care that they offered to my uncle, Bob Garvey, who was here. As many of you would know, I was a regular visitor here, not just for my uncle, but over many, many years. And to come down Route 91 today, you witnessed the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's how astounding this moment is. The tragedy that occurred here cannot be swept under the rug. We all know what happened. But the families that are here as well, I go by reading obituaries, and I still read those little testimonials that are offered. And many of those people said, my family got great care here at the Holyoke Soldiers' Home. And I think that's a great testament to the professional staff who loyally and faithfully provided that service. I also want to thank Dennis McDonough, Dennis McDonough is the head of the Veterans Administration. One of 10 kids from Chicago, he gets it. And when I called him to say we need to move this project up on the agenda, he said, give me some time and give me some room, I'll get it done. And he did, and I want to acknowledge that. Our legislators and the governor were full partners with Dr. Santiago in making sure that the state was able to honor their commitment as well. And the governor mentioned something else that's really important to me, and that is this. I want to thank our friends in organized labor. This project is going to be quality because of you. Where we can get a project labor agreement, you're always better off because the union people will come back and fix an error without any questions asked, and we need to recognize that on occasions like this. The topping off ceremony, I've participated in many of them over this career. The topping off ceremony from the ironworkers notes kind of most of the achievement is underway. There's still work to be done, but as potential is met, potential expands. I grew up with the ironworkers in Springfield. They were from my neighborhood. And one thing about a topping off ceremony, I enjoyed a lot of topping off ceremonies with them in the aftermath of the achievement. But the other thing we know about the ironworkers, and the mayor would testify to this, they could put the building up and they could take the building down. They were totally committed to the professionalism that comes along with that designation. So to the mayor and to the legislative delegation and our great governor, this is a terrific day. We're only part of the way here because the commitment that we made when we sent them off has to be honored when we bring them home. And it's that quality of life that they have in aged years at this facility. I can tell you this, that this facility made national headlines for the wrong reasons. Today, it's going to make national headlines because of all of you for the right reasons. Thanks from the United States of America. Dr. Santiago said I can only take an hour to introduce him. He was here with me each step of the way. He represented the governor so ably, and he was here for these big, big moments as we tried to make sure that this initiative got off the ground. Veteran Dr. Santiago.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to be here. It's such an imposing building. I mean, you could see it from the highway. You can almost see it from Boston. It's like, why have ways when you could just follow the building? But it's great to be here, particularly with Veterans Day around the corner. And in fact, this week, we're celebrating veterans all across the Commonwealth. We're in Fall River a couple days ago, Worcester 2 days ago, and Western Mass today, celebrating this historic achievement. And it's really been an historic achievement for the administration over the course of this past year and a half. It's been my honor to really represent the governor and the LG as the first Secretary of Veteran Services. It's because of their leadership and their vision that not only do we have the first Secretary in the history of the Commonwealth, but we've been able to do amazing things. We are transforming veteran services in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We are ushering a new era of services. And I can promise you that we're investing more in veterans than we ever have before, and we're engaging veterans more than ever. And that's because of Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll. So I just want to thank you for that, Gov. But the bottom line, in all my experiences, whether it's in the hospital or in the Army, is that you can't do this work alone. It's the ultimate game of teamwork and partnership. And Congressman Neil, literally 3 weeks into this position, I get a call from DC saying, listen, a couple of things have to get addressed before this money is transferred to you. A couple of big things, some big hurdles. He's the first person I turned to. And it's because of his leadership and his staff, within days, we were able to jump those hurdles, have those conversations, and secure the funding for this transformational building. So I just want to thank you for your leadership. And that of our delegation here, Senator Vilas, Representative Duffy, and the folks from Western Mass. This is a powerhouse delegation. When I have questions or concerns when it comes to veteran issues, those impacting the whole Commonwealth, but particularly in Western Mass, I go to them. And it's because of them that we passed the most comprehensive veterans piece of legislation in the history of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Because of them, their votes, their ideas, and the leadership of people like Senator Vilas. So I just want to thank you for that and your partnership. And speaking of that team, whether it's Commodore Walsh, the men and women in yellow, our folks in state government, I see Commissioner Bakey somewhere, and the folks at DCAM, you're changing lives. I had the honor to open up the Chelsea Veterans Home earlier this past year, and I can attest to you that the tears shed, the moments shared with family and friends on that day and every day since that has been some of the most meaningful moments in my time as secretary. And I can promise you, in fall 2026, we'll be there as well here in Holyoke. So I just want to thank you for what you do each and every day, supporting the veterans out here in Holyoke and in Western Mass. And I look forward to opening up this building and continuing to play my small role as Secretary of Veteran Services. So thank you, and I want to introduce my good friend, my brother in service, Senator Jon Vilas.
Good afternoon, everybody. So a beautiful, beautiful sight the other night. And if you haven't done it, and I know we got folks here from all over the Commonwealth, if you haven't driven by this facility at night on 91, you look at those lights. It is a beautiful, beautiful sight. The other night, I'm driving. I've got my wife and I've got my 2-year-old Carson in the car. And he says, and he sees it, and his eyes shot up with the lights. He says, "Dad, what's that?" And I looked at him and I said, you know, son, this is hopefully a place that your daddy someday is going to call home someday. and Dad, they got dinosaurs there? So, folks, I mean, this is a long time coming. We've already talked about the partnerships. We've talked about the building trades, everything they've done ahead of schedule. And we are so very grateful. The governor, the secretary, the congressman, everyone here, the mayor, just the list goes on and on and on. Colonel Lazo, the list goes on and on and on. I want to talk about a different collaboration here for a second. And I'm looking at my colleagues. Because years ago, in 2020, we needed to do something initially. We passed a $600 million bond bill. $600 million bond bill. So that's the collaboration that's front and center for me today as well. Because every single one of my colleagues, and I'm looking at their faces, and I've talked to each and every single one of you about this. We didn't stop there. As already been alluded to, we had a tragedy of tragedies here. So the delegation got together again and passed a new oversight bill. So to my colleagues who so actively participated in this debate, that started this debate, I am eternally grateful. I'm going to give a special shout out here for a second. Where's my legislative aide, Caitlin? Yeah, stand up. At some point in time, if you see me on the street, let's have a cup of coffee, and I'll tell you precisely what Caitlin Letourneau did for why we are here today. It's already been alluded to. Tragedy. Tragedy. We frequently talk about, I will frequently say, you're probably sick of me saying it, that thank God for the blood, sweat, and tears of our veterans and our service members. And the undeniable reality of this facility is that blood, sweat, and tears contributed to why we're here today. What I'm also mindful of the fact, as I sit here today and I look at these veterans, and I think to myself, forget about all the other stuff in this world that we have going on. I know that we are good when we have men and women like this who have served their country. And we are forever indebted to you. Here's why this is really, really, really important for any number of reasons. One of the biggest crises that we don't talk enough about in this country is that young men and young women are not joining the service as much as they used to be. Less than 0.5% of this country serves today. And I'm going to repeat that. Less than 0.5% serves this country today. So you know what that tells me? That a lot of men and women are doing a lot for the rest of us. Repeat deployments, time away from their family, coming back, struggling, underemployment, unemployment, substance use, behavioral health. The list goes on and on and on. So I sit back and I say, you want to know what? What's one way we can look young men and young women in the eye and encourage them to go fight for this country, knowing full well that they might not come back? This. We can do stuff like this. Because when we do stuff like this, what this says, thank you for your service, but it's not empty rhetoric. I am so very proud to be the chairman of Veterans in Federal Affairs in Massachusetts. Why? Because what we do is not empty rhetoric. We recognize that service. We recognize those families. And I'm going to finish with this, and this goes back to Caitlin. In 2020, in the height of the tragedy that was ensuing, my office spearheaded listening sessions with family members that had been impacted by the tragedy that happened here at COVID. Caitlin organized, though, and I'm speaking directly to the families here right now. Trust me when I tell you this, that if it was not for your advocacy, if it was not for your stories, if it was not for your loved ones, I'm not sure we would be here today with this building. I am eternally grateful. I'm eternally grateful for your service. I am eternally grateful for the staff at this facility who treats this not as a job, who treats this not as a job, but as a calling. They know their veterans. They know their family members. They know who's been visited, who hasn't been. They're here today with them. To the people building this, to my partners in government, to the families, to everyone that has part of why we are here today, thank you so, so very much. I have the distinct honor and privilege of now introducing my partner in crime, who I am so very blessed to share in representing this great city of Holyoke, Pat Duffy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I want to thank everybody for coming, you know, my partners in government, the governor, our congressman, labor, families, veterans, residents, and also I do have a special shout out to my colleagues in the delegation. It's always wonderful to see you here in Holyoke, and this is about this regional asset. This home belongs to all of us. Of course it belongs to the whole Commonwealth, but it belongs to us here in this region. And I thank the governor for recognizing each of you. I saw Lindsay Sabadosa step in, so wanted to make sure Lindsay got that shout out as well. Like virtually every single one of you here, I have had a close involvement with this home for years, for decades. It started being a union rep for the incomparable staff here, which is an incredible introduction. It's also being a friend and an advocate for the residents here and their families. Looking at you all, tragedy has been alluded to, but it's wonderful to see you all here, and you know, we want to be here for you at all times. It's really the honor of my career to have played a small role with my colleagues in government in building this home so that these residents, these veterans, their families, the staff and their caretakers have the facility that they deserve. You know, I'm a fortunate person for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons why I'm so fortunate is I live just over a mile away, just like right down in that neighborhood. I go out in my backyard these past months and I'm watching this building grow. It's incredible, and it is a reminder to me every day of the example these veterans have given us. The idea that there is something bigger than all of us. There's community, there's country, there's taking care of each other. And I think that's a lesson that all of us can live by, and perhaps especially those of us who have the honor of being in public service. So thank you, thank you. So speaking of partnerships, we couldn't be doing this without Commodore Walsh and the incredible work that they're doing. So it is my honor to introduce Joe Albanese and Richard Walsh.
Thank you, thank you. We're not done yet, but I promise you we won't disappoint you. Governor, Congressman, Secretary, Senator, Representatives, Commissioner, General, labor leaders, mayor, veterans. Here we are, a few days from Veterans Day, surrounded by veterans who will be served by this great facility and their families as we celebrate the latest milestone in this project. In today's world, we're constantly reminded of how critical the American military is in our country's fight for freedom. Freedom is not free. And with all that's going on in the world today, we are thankful to be part of this great nation. As a 29-year veteran of the Naval Construction Forces, I'd like to add my own thank you to all the men and women who've served our nation so bravely. We would not be the world leaders that we are today without your selfless commitment. Thank you. When I last... Thank you. I'm going to give you my card. When I last stood before you at the groundbreaking, I spoke about purpose. And the best thing about our business, construction, is the deep purpose that we deliver on so many of our projects. And there's no greater purpose than this state-of-the-art veterans facility that we will deliver for this community of veterans that will live here and the critical services will get from here for their families, their loved ones, no greater purpose. The same pride extends to DCAM, Payette and the design team, CHA, and the dozens of subcontractors, vendors, labor leaders, and most importantly, tradespeople. They know how important this project is, and they're driven by this highest order of purpose to do their best every day. Purpose. This new Veterans Home represents the Commonwealth's commitment to serving those who have served us. The Commodore Walsh team are equally committed to this mission. I'd like to take a moment to thank the team at DCAM, Adam Bakke, Commissioner, Jay Mitchell, Gordon Wren, Mark Johnson, Joe Fazio, and your whole team, too many to mention. I know I speak for my partner, Richard Walsh, when I say thank you for your leadership and for your confidence in selecting Commodore Walsh to build this project.
Thank you very much, Joe. And thank you all for being here today on such a special day. And it is a very special event to see the topping off. You know, seeing the final steel beam beside us makes me reflect on the work that has been completed since we broke ground just 16 months ago. Just a few facts about the project. We have completed 28% of the project. We put over $112 million worth of work in place, and our team and trade partners have put in over 173,000 hours of work. Just a couple of facts: in this building alone with our iron workers, we put over 4,000 tons of steel in place. And on the site, incidentally, we've installed nearly 150 geothermal wells. We'll see about the dinosaurs. I'm not sure about that yet. But again, our workforce is the foundation of our industry. So I'd like to shout out our entire labor force that's with us today, and specifically to Frank Callahan and Colton Andrews for their very special leadership in this achievement. So that's just where we've been. As Joe said, when we first broke ground, we had a daily average of 40 people on site. Today, we average just above 150. But now with this beam in place, we hit the green light and we'll be ramping up exponentially and are anticipating upwards of 450 people on site each day. It's thanks to every one of these individuals, each hour and each day they show up for work, that we will deliver the project that we have promised you. So building a project of this scale requires partnership. To the Veterans Home, Richard Polrek, Michael Lazo, Glenn Heavey, as well as countless others, thank you for your collaboration and for trusting us to build your new facility. To our architect partners at Payette, Scott Parker, Sarah Radding, Kevin Sullivan and their team, thank you for designing a world-class program that we will build together. And to the Commodore Walsh team, Will Schuster, Ryan Tracy, Natalie Assens, Tim Senecal, John Savage, and the entire team, it's your commitment and hard work that have gotten us to this point. So finally, congratulations. Congratulations to the Commonwealth, the federal, state, and local leaders, the Veterans Home, and the entire team on reaching this very important milestone. But as Joe said, we still have work to do, and we're looking forward to continuing. So thank you very much, and it gives me great pleasure now to bring to the podium Jeremy Long from Prime Steel.
Never gets old looking at it, that's for sure. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and all the incredible veterans. We are here to serve you. What a truly magnificent day this is. Mother Nature has decided to shine down upon us, making this historical moment even brighter. I've spoken at 100 of these topping off ceremonies in my career. And let me tell you one thing, you rarely get a day like this. The sun isn't just out and the wind isn't just howling. It's practically waving their hands and saying, let's celebrate our veterans. My name is Jeremy Long, and I am with Prime Steel. And I am a proud fourth generation Local 7 union iron worker. I feel a profound sense of honor and gratitude as we gather to celebrate this time-honored tradition in our trade, the topping off ceremony. For those of you are unfamiliar with this tradition, topping off, it's an ironworker's rite that occurs when the highest structural steel member is swung into place, typically the last steel beam on the building. This tradition is said to have originated with the Norwegians back in 1897, but its roots go much further back than that, with references as early as 1700 AD. The Scandinavians believed that the Vikings have brought this tradition from the European Union over here to the United States. You'll see that there's a tree used often in these ceremonies. And that tree symbolizes growth and prosperity, coming from nothing to something. The American flag that will be hanging on that beam, well, it's pretty simple, right? American built. And that we should clap for. Absolutely. Regardless of its origins, there's one thing that's certain. Topping off tradition is a sacred moment for all these ironworkers standing over here. First, I want to extend my deepest thank you, Governor Healey, Congressman Neil, Senator Vilas, and all the distinguished VIPs that are sitting here today with us. Well, let's be real. Who are the real VIPs here today? It's the dedicated union ironworkers and the union labor force building this union-built building. These men and women had made many sacrifices that we all take for granted. They've given up family trips, sporting events with their kids, summer vacations, and birthdays. Their unwavering commitment to the long hours have resulted in something that is truly so special for those who serve our country. So let's take a moment and give a huge round of applause to the men and women of Local 7 and Local 15 Ironworkers, Local 4, and all the other local unions that are here represented today. As I reflect on the work that is done here, I can't help but highlight the critical role that the union labor has played in this project. The strength of our union is founded in our members. And Massachusetts boasts some of the strongest unions in the country. And that is something we all can take pride in. I'd also like to express my gratitude to Commodore Builders and Walsh Brothers for believing in Prime Steel and our fabrication partner, Bose Atlas, led by Nick Blaze. Together, we have delivered this amazing structure. I have written here on time, but I've heard a lot of over schedule, behind schedule, in front of schedule. We have delivered this building on time, under budget, and without incident. And that is a trifecta we can certainly celebrate. A special thank you goes out to William Schuster and his team for their unwavering dedication to worker safety. I was given an early piece of wisdom that rings true today. Jeremy, we need to get this job done. But more importantly, we need to get it done safely. Those words have guided us through every aspect of this project. Thanks to the Commodore Walsh team, Prime Steel has implemented our corporate safety program that you see behind me right here, known as our 20-20-20 safety campaign. Very simply stated, every worker on site takes 20 seconds, every 20 minutes, to look 20 feet around them. Small action like that has been so vital to keeping our job site and associates safe. Additionally, the innovative cocoon netting system that you see on this building to the left, designed by Essential Perimeter Safety Systems, is the future of construction safety. It has protected all the workers on site and has helped the Commodore Walsh JV team keep on schedule safely. So in closing, let's all remember that this project is just not about the steel and the concrete. It's about building a future for those who have served us selflessly. As we top off this historical structure, let us all celebrate the hard work, dedication, and safety that has brought us all here together today. As an iron worker, I would like to say thank you all for being part of this monumental occasion. And let's continue to always honor our veterans with every beam we raise forever. Thank you very much, and God bless. Now is my distinct honor to bring back up to the podium the governor of our great Commonwealth, Governor Maura Healey.
Awesome words. Well, I think we've arrived at the point of the program, the big show. We really appreciate everybody being out today. Love our veterans, love all those who serve and take care of our veterans. And I know that everybody here is all in and making sure that we do that today and every day forward. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Yeah, why don't we do that?
All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to hook up the steel beam right over here, and we're going to fly it straight up. You're going to see it come up, and it's got the American flag like we talked about right on there. They're going to bring it up, and they're going to fly it right into place. Whenever you guys are ready.
We're going to start taking it home. We do no time, you know? I think about 24 working hours. We're breaking it into 2 weeks. No longer. It's changing the industry. fact that they're actually
Everybody's getting nervous. Look at you getting nervous. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Don't worry, the net's got you.
Yeah.
The net's got you, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just never know what happens, you know. Sometimes things change, you know, in life. You know, and so people get too close and stuff happens. So this innovative system, we're putting on, you know, we have it in the Siemens Power Project, we have it in the water project. You can actually put steel up now, you do everything behind it, which makes everybody's heart rate go down, which makes everybody's blood pressure go down.
Wait. Yeah, just by that, sure.
Thank you so much. It's great. Beautiful.
Good job. You're taking to the road.
So the picture probably didn't have a check. Gentlemen, good job. Very cool. Very cool stuff. See all that there? We got a lot of land to build on. We're ready.
We're your contractor. We got plenty of people.
Congratulations. That was great.